info on his VP search, which is what I am going to start with today. All right, it is showtime.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, it sure is. Welcome. It is Thursday already, if you can believe it. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover today, and I thought we had tons of news built up, and then last night, Donald Trump just dropped a massive story, and that is the list of the 7 people that are on his list to be vice president that they sent off to be vetted. And vetting is very important because a lot of these people are kind of new on the scene, and you want to make sure that they don't have some skeletons. And I want to go through this and I'll go through the list. We'll go through the story, and I want to hear your thoughts on who you think it might be. And when you look at this, I'm going to go through the names real quick. Now, these names are not just speculation. These names are the people that President Trump sent the vetting paperwork in on. Okay, so this is it. This is the list. And I imagine one of the reasons that this was made public by President Trump is that so all of us could talk about it and he could kind of get a feel for where the voters are on this. I'm going to go through the names real quick now, and then we'll talk about this as it goes on. But I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-465-2631. Marco Rubio, one of our 2 senators here in Florida. J.D. Vance. Tim Scott. Doug Burgum. Byron Donalds. Elise Stefanik. And Dr. Ben Carson. Those are the 7 people that he sent the vetting paperwork in on. So the convention is like next month. It's going to be somebody on this list. And I was listening to them actually talking about this on Fox. And one of the guys on Fox, they had some pundit on, talking about it. But he did ask a very good question, and the pundit didn't have a good answer. I'll give you the answer, and I welcome yours. Out of everyone on this list, is there anyone who's going to get Trump a single vote that he otherwise would not have gotten? It used to be that vice presidents were picked because they would help bring a state or a part of the country to that person's side. Like Kennedy chose Johnson to try to get the Southern vote. Reagan picked Bush probably because Bush had to have helped with Texas, but also Bush was part of the deep state and Republican establishment, and there was a lot of that. But things have changed so much. Bringing somebody in to help carry a state I don't even know if that's a possibility anymore. The country has had so much migration going on that I don't know if something like that's even possible these days. But the pick for vice president, now, I know people have been talking about this for a long time, but now we have the official list. These are the people that President Trump has sent the vetting paperwork on. So now it's becoming like real. Okay? It's like real now. And, on that list, whoever Donald Trump picks, I'm going to support him. It's not going to change my support, not going to change my vote, but it is important, more so than other vice presidents, because Trump only has 1 term left. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the calls in a bit. President Trump only has 1 term left, and part of what he's got to do is pick the political apprentice to become the nominee in 2028 and become the second MAGA president. So when I look at this list, I'm thinking who on there is likely to be the nominee. Ben Carson, I'd cross right off that list. I don't see Ben Carson in 2028 as the nominee and winning an election, do you? Tim Scott gets very weird when he talks. J.D. Vance, who's very good, and he's been doing a lot of good stuff lately, can we afford to lose J.D. Vance in the Senate? No? Can we? You know, the Senate is a very difficult thing. Only a third of it is up every 2 years. We may not gain the majority in the Senate back this time. It may take 2 times. Well, I don't know. The Senate's a very, very difficult thing to predict. The House is different. There's so many seats. They're all up. Senate's different. And J.D. Vance is a strong leader in the Senate. I don't know if we'd want to lose him in the Senate right now until we have firm majority with some tough guys in there. You know? Tim Scott that I mentioned, he just gets weird when he talks. That's bad news. The ones on the list that I like the most, Doug Burnham and Byron Donalds are both at the top of my list. I would put them both in my number 1 and number 2 equal. Doug Burgum, the North Dakota governor, is not running for re-election. He's been by Trump's side, it seems like, for months now. And when I've heard him speak, I mean, I've been very impressed by him. And Byron Donalds the same. Now, we don't know a lot about these guys. We know they're conservative. We know they're MAGA and things. We don't know a lot about them. They don't have like years and years of history like a lot of these guys that run. But on this list, the top 2 on my list would be Doug Burgum and Byron Donalds, and I would put them up equal. And then after that, for 3 and 4, and I would also hold them equal, would be Elise Stefanik and Marco Rubio. I like them both a lot. So, I mean, my 4 would be Doug Burgum, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Marco Rubio. I don't think J.D. Vance, I don't think we want to lose him in the Senate right now. Tim Scott, I don't think is ready for prime time. And Ben Carson, I'm getting tired just talking about him. I like Ben Carson. You know, Ben Carson became a player when Obama was president. A lot of people have forgotten, but there was some prayer breakfast that Obama was at. This is when he was president. And Ben Carson, who most people vaguely knew who he was because of those conjoined twins, they made a movie about Ben Carson, and Cuba Gooding Jr. played him. It was a TV movie for TNT, if I remember correctly. It was a very strange title. It sounds very creepy. It's called The Man with Gifted Hands, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. as Dr. Ben Carson. Now, they don't rerun that movie too much because they don't want to help Ben Carson. And then I saw Cuba Gooding is in the news today for apparently groping some girl in a bar or something again. I don't know. But he just doesn't have it. Elise Stefanik, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, and Byron Donalds on this list. These 4, to me, are the most credible. Elise Stefanik is tough as it gets. You see her you've seen her confront Hunter. She's very tough. I met her at Mar-a-Lago, and I wasn't sure it was her because she is really tiny. And I was expecting her to be like a big girl because she's tough. I mean, she's like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she's like, Laura Loomer. She's really really tough. And she's a little girl. I like her a lot, though. There's one thing, too, and I stand to be corrected on this, but I've even talked to Dick Morris about this twice on this show. Unless they've changed the law, and that happens sometimes. Remember what happened to Alexander Haig when he thought he was next in line, and they had, amended the line of secession, but he grew up thinking. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe things have changed since I was in school, but my understanding is, and Dick Morris agreed with me on this. I asked him about it twice. That if the vice president nominee and the president are from the same state, they cannot get the electoral college votes from that state. That's what I've always learned. And Marco Rubio and Byron Donalds are both Florida guys. And Dick Morris agreed with me on that. There's ways around it. You've heard me talk about this a lot. When Bush picked Cheney to be his running mate, they were both residents of Texas. But Cheney went and got a driver's license in Wyoming, and nobody cared. I don't know if they'd give Trump the same pass, okay? They're getting ready to take his gun license away from him in New York now because of this phony conviction last week. So I don't know if Byron Donalds and Marco Rubio are realistic. But out of those four, Marco Rubio is pretty impressive. He really is. He's changed and grown up a lot. But out of those four, Doug Burgum, if I had to pick my top, it'd be Doug Burgum, followed by Byron Donalds. But, I mean, they're neck and neck. I mean, I would put them up there evenly. Third, Stefanik, and fourth, I guess, Marco Rubio. Those would be my picks. But what this guy asked on Fox, I thought was a very good question. Out of everyone on this list, which one of them would get Trump any votes, even one that he wouldn't already get? And I don't think anyone. I don't think there's anyone that's going to get him votes that he wouldn't normally get. So we'll take our first break of the day. We'll come back with your calls. There's a lot to cover, not just this. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I put a question up on my YouTube channel last night. Who do you pick? Most people have said Ben Carson. I don't think I finished the story about Ben Carson, so I'll do that because I was in the middle of it and I distracted myself. But Ben Carson became famous because he was a speaker at this prayer breakfast that President Obama was at. Obama was president, and Obamacare was the thing that was being talked about, very controversial being talked about, and Ben Carson was standing right next to Obama and ripped him a new one over Obamacare. It was amazing. I mean, he just totally tore apart Obamacare standing right next to Obama. And, of course, Ben Carson with his conjoined twins thing has very well-known, very famous, very credible in the medical field. It was huge. People were talking about it for weeks. That was a beautiful moment, but that was a long time ago, and Ben Carson just is too low energy these days. All right, call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce City Festival Business Expo and Health Fair is coming on Saturday, June 15th at Miami Springs Golf and Country Club from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The True Oldies channel will be on site from 12 to 2 with some great giveaways, fun, and more. Coming Saturday, June 15th is the Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce City Festival Business Expo and Health Fair at Miami Springs Golf and Country Club.
Where are we?
Curtis Parkway in Miami Springs. Learn more at GreaterSouthFloridaChamber.com.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit. In HOAs, much longer. If they need money for materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and we pay cash for houses. If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor and save thousands in commissions and closing costs, call me at 561-570-7070. You can sell us your home in as little as 3 days or on your time frame. We can even pay you a cash process is simple, and we can make you a cash offer over the phone or in person. Whatever works for you. Do you have a home that needs a lot of work? Did you inherit a house you don't want? No problem. We can buy your home no matter the condition or situation. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home fast and easy, we'll buy it. Call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
You suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Okay, so the Trump 7 list has been released. The names of the people that Trump has sent the paperwork in on to be vetted to be VP. And I'd like to narrow the discussion to this. I don't want to hear people telling me who they would like. Oh, I like this or that. We try to stick to the list if you don't mind. I don't. This isn't some fantasy league, okay? We got a list. It's real now. This is not some generic thing. We've got the list of the final 7 in the game of the political apprentice. Who's going to be Trump's running mate? Now, before we go to the calls, I want to say this. These hot days we are having, holy smokes, you want to go to MyPillow.com and get some of this great bedding. You know, the Giza Dream Sheets are 100% Giza cotton. I have, 8 sets of these. They're at their lowest price ever. In fact, you can get them as low as $25 on the MyPillow sheets. The Giza Dream Sheets are made of 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And Mike Lindell says that many people advertise that they sell Giza cotton sheets, but they're only 10% cotton. His are 100% Giza cotton. And when I first ordered them, I didn't, okay, whatever, cotton's cotton, what's the big deal, until I slept on them. The Giza Dream Sheets are not just soft and perfect, they keep you cool and comfortable in the hot nights like we're having right now and warm and toasty in the winter. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And also, the fitted sheet at the bottom is probably next to the fill that he puts inside the My Pillows that started everything. The way that Mike Lindell has manufactured the bottom fitted sheet is an incredible invention. It is the only fitted sheet that I've ever had that easily fits on all 4 corners of the mattress. You guys know exactly, well, at least certainly the ladies do. Some of the guys may not make the bed. But you know how it is with fitted sheets on other mattresses. You get one corner on fine, then you have to go all the way to the other corner of the bed. You get the second one on, maybe half. The third corner, you get on about a quarter of it. In the fourth corner, you have to use all your strength. It's, you have to, So sometimes I've pulled on the bottom sheet so hard, I feel like I'm going to rip them, and you get it just like a millimeter over the corner, and you're like, ugh. With the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, all 4 corners fit perfectly, effortlessly. 2 fingers and a thumb. Boom, 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 boom. Even with the mattress topper on. They're amazing. So the MyPillow sheets as low as $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Jim.
Hey, Jim. I can hear you, Jim.
All right, I've been watching you for like 5 years, but there's something that I need to speak to you about.
Oh, here we go.
Your ears only, not the radio.
My ears only. Okay, okay. Well, hold on a second. I'll put you on hold because you got me curious, and I'll talk to you at the bottom of the hour. But can you tell me what the subject matter is generally?
I would, but I don't want you to give it away. It's actually very important. You're going to want to hear this.
All right. I don't do this very often, but I'm going to put you on hold. I don't even know where the hold button is hardly on the phone here, and I'll talk. You guys curious? I'm curious. If it's airworthy or something, I'll share it with you. Oh, I like that. I'm curious. Maybe we should take the break early. I don't know. Very interesting. All right, let's go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I would go with the governor of North Dakota because.
Yeah, what's his name? Okay, hold on. What's his name?
No,
Yeah, exact. Okay. Yeah.
Burdom?
What is it?
Governor Burdom of North.
Burdom? What about his? No, that's not it. What's his first name?
It's not on the top.
Well, that's an issue. I mean, so I want you to think about this. So you want someone to be a heartbeat away. You don't even know their name. I mean, what do we know about them? I mean, you know, I trust Trump. So if Trump says they're okay, that's fine with me, right? If Trump vouches for someone, that's fine. But before you jump on and get excited about someone, unless Trump says this is the person and I give them my thing, I mean, these are people we know nothing about. Most of these, you know, some people have been. The one we know the most about on that list is Marco Rubio because he's been on the scene the longest. But, you know, how many times have we gotten excited about someone and then find out they're a snake?
Well, his name is a blank in my mind right now, but I've seen him at Trump's rallies. And
yeah,
I think somebody from North Dakota has more connection to the real people, people of America.
You know, okay. Everything I've seen about Burgum publicly is okay, except, okay, he is very much into drilling, drill baby drill, coal and all that stuff, but he's also into all this green crap.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not against people having electric cars if you want to have that. You know, if you want to get around in a golf cart that doesn't get you where you need to go without charging all the time, that's, you know, fine. But, you know, he is into that green crap. So that's something you got to keep your eye on.
Well, I just learned that listening to you. Did not know that.
But he's both sides, okay? He's also into coal and oil and all that stuff. So there's, you know, again, whoever Trump picks, if Trump picked Hillary Clinton, I'd support Trump, okay? It doesn't matter who he picks. But we're talking about the second MAGA president possibly. So, you know, you should at least know their name and we should know a little bit about them.
Okay. And, you know, I've listened to you for a long time, and you're like the number one pick for the news.
Thank you.
I just learned something today about the governor of North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Know it.
Yeah. All right, take care. Good to hear from you, Montana Mark. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I wouldn't pick Bergman. Well, I'll take whoever Trump picks, but Bergman's another old white man again.
What, you're against old white guys? A little self-hating there, Richie. You're an old white guy.
But I'm against it because at this point, I see J.D. Vance as the best. And you say, well, we need him in the Senate. He's still got 2 more years, I believe, or 4 more years left on his term. They would plug him in with somebody else.
Any, you know, let me tell you, out of everyone on the list, out of the 7, the Trump 7, okay, that we have on the vetting list, J.D. Vance, out of everyone on that list, is the most electable nationally as president in 2028. No doubt about it.
And he's articulate, and he can actually speak a sentence, and you listen to him because he actually he was a successful businessman. I mean, the guy is sharp. The women will like him because he's a good-looking man. I'm telling you, straight up, if Trump picks some.
He has J.D. Vance. You took that's the exact word I was going to use. Charisma. It's exactly right off of my tongue. I was just about to say he has charisma. The other ones on that list don't have charisma. I like Byron Donalds a lot, and he's very good in debate, but he doesn't have charisma. You gotta have charisma. There's very few presidents that have not had charisma. Maybe none since television.
It's also hard to get a congressman as vice president. I just think that J.D. Vance is the most qualified, also out of all of them. And
well, why do you say the most qualified? What does that mean?
because of his business experience.
Burgum is another billionaire, you know.
He's an old man. I mean, he's another one that he doesn't excite anybody. I mean,
I agree.
Nice guy, but he's no excitement there. I'm sorry, J.D. Vance, and they could plug him in with
now I may be wrong by a year or two, but I don't even think J.D. Vance is 40 yet. Is he 40? Is he like 39 or 40? I mean, that's also a little young.
Yeah, but he's sharp, and not just that. He can learn. He's got 4 years to learn. He's not going for president now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going for vice president.
Yeah.
Learn. And he can actually, he's got Trump's back. Anybody jumps on him and interviews, he'll make, the guy. And let
me tell you, one thing I asked at the beginning, is there anyone on that list that brings a vote that Trump otherwise wouldn't get? And we used to talk about how they would pick candidates based on they could get a state or a southern vote. J.D. Vance could firm up Ohio, and you need Ohio to win.
And I'm going last because I know you got this guy on hold. The last thing I'm going to say, okay, it's very important. He's coming from a state where this particular talk show host is speaking at this moment. So let's go Ohio.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's go Ohio. Yeah, exactly. 10 presidents have been from Ohio. When I was a kid in Ohio, they used to tell us that all the time. They call it the state of presidents. 10 presidents from Ohio, but we haven't had one in a while. But no president has won since how long without winning Ohio? And J.D. Vance could carry us Ohio, that's for sure. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour, and I'll take this mysterious phone call. And if you watch on YouTube, you can hear my end of the conversation. You won't be able to hear his, but you'll hear my end of the secret phone call. All right, let's take that break.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Okay, what's up? Mm-hmm. Okay. Why do you say that? Oh, that was I don't want to say the name because I'm on the YouTube. That wasn't him. That was somebody else. Hold on one second. Okay, yeah, that was somebody else. But I think you're right about that though. Yes, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, you could have said that on the air though. That there's no need to. Mm-hmm. That was Jay from Jersey. That was Jay from Jersey. Yeah, no, that was Jay from Jersey. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, I gotta run because I gotta get ready to come back. But I appreciate it. All right. Thanks a lot. Take care. I don't know why I didn't share that on the air. He got Renee and Jay from Jersey mixed up, but he said that he thinks Jay from Jersey uses a voice change or a voice box to change his voice, and because of that call he made the other day, and I definitely agree with that. It's a very strong possibility.
First of all, he does make a great product, great pillows. I actually use them, believe it or not. He's been a supporter from day one. My pillow guy, thank you. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
As always, President Trump is right. The My Pillow is so good, even that President Trump sleeps on one. Support Mike Lindell, President Trump, and the Steve Kane Show at the same time. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for a huge
I found out something pretty big about someone that's a liberal in the media that I need to get some more independent confirmations of.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him. That's amazing.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce City Festival Business Expo and Health Fair is coming up Saturday, June 15th at Miami Springs Golf and Country Club from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The True Oldies channel will be on site from 12 to 2 with some great giveaways, fun, and more.
We'll be back in 12 seconds.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce City Festival Business Expo and Health Fair at Miami Springs Golf and Country Club, 650 Curtis Parkway in Miami Springs. Learn more at GreaterSouthFloridaChamber.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Rating 47 years on the air.
All right, I'll tell you what the guy wanted to talk to me off the air about. It wasn't anything that he needed to do off the air. It would have been fine on the air, but he thought it would. He was talking about Jay from Jersey the other day with the two voices. Remember that when I picked him up? And he thinks he's using a voice changer, which I think is possible too. You know, there are callers who use voice changers, and I know about it sometimes. I just don't bring it up because sometimes I don't want to go that direction. But there was one guy that was doing some crank calling years ago with a voice changer, and he messed up and didn't have the voice changer set up right, and I could hear his voice and the voice changer at the same time. And my only regret about it is I had answered the phone off the air, which and that's when he did it. It wasn't on the air. I wish it was on the air for everybody to hear. It was unbelievable, you know. But, yeah, Jay from Jersey very well may use a voice changer of some kind, and I'm sure there's all kinds of apps that do it now, because his voice did sound very different on that call the other day. And you notice he hasn't called back since. Yeah, whatever. Let him use his voice changer. All right, let's go. He can't change his thoughts and be articulate no matter what voice he's using. 1-888-465-2631. What we've been talking about is it has come out of the Trump campaign, Trump's final 7 on his VP list. These are names he has submitted to be vetted. So this isn't a fantasy list. This is a real list of people he's having vetted. We're talking about those. I really don't want to hear everybody's wish list. Oh, I want Don Jr. I want this person. Let's talk about those that are actually being vetted for the job by President Trump, all right? Let's go right here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, first off, with J.D. Vance, remember Trump won Ohio the last 2 times. he ran. Now we know what happened in 2020. All this.
Yeah, but Ohio is one of the most important states. A Republican hasn't won in anyone's lifetime without winning Ohio. So if we're looking at there's two things that J.D. Vance has that I don't see anybody on the rest of the list having. One, he has the ability to firm up a state. None of the others are going to firm up their states. Okay, a couple of them are from Florida. We already got Florida. Okay, so there's nobody else for sure. There's nobody else there that firms up a state for Trump. And like I was talking with Richie, out of everyone on that list of 7, J.D. Vance is the one who I think is most likely to be electable nationally in 2028 as the second MAGA president. The other ones on there, it's not a lot of charisma.
The thing with Elisa Stefanik is that the person that in that district that won that district was a Democrat before her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about if she is the nominee, unless she has somebody in mind to take that seat when she leaves, then there's a chance that seat flips.
Yeah.
Flips, so that's the point. Now, with Rubio, can he go to maybe Texas and get a license or something like that?
No, he's the sitting senator they're not going to let Trump send his running mate to get a license in another state like they did Cheney. They would never accept that. I mean, look what they're doing to him. Okay? So they wouldn't accept that. And I like Marco Rubio a lot. I never used to, okay? But he's grown up a lot. He used to be a never Trumper. My rule of thumb is never trust him. But he's gotten very good. But I don't think he's got the charisma to win the presidency in 2028.
And really, Byron Donalds is probably going to be your next governor down there.
Maybe. That would be great.
Yeah, so that takes Rubio and Donalds off the list. So, really, in my mind, it's J.D. Vance or Elise Stefanik.
Yeah. All right, Mike, appreciate the call. Some good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ivan from the Bronx. How you doing?
All right, Ivan, what's up?
I understand that Ohio is important. I get that. But Vivek Ramaswamy,
He's not on the list. He's not on the list. Trump sent a list of 7 people in to be vetted. They do the background checks and all that stuff, and Ramaswamy's not on the list. No, he's not on the list.
I am shocked.
I don't trust him. If Trump picks him, I don't trust him. He's got that Soros. He's a Soros fellow. How can you trust him?
Hey, listen, that is so minor. I got to be honest with you.
Being a Soros fellow? George Soros' brother paid for his graduate school education. How's that not a big deal?
Yeah, it's not like he ever met him. He never met him.
George Soros' brother paid for his graduate school education.
No, it was a $50,000.
Listen. There were certain things that people do that they can't shake off. Porn and a Soros connection. You do one of those two things, that's it.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, the guy's a tactician, right? He's also a strategist, right?
How did he make his billion? How did he make his billions? He's a billionaire, Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
How do he make his billions?
Pharmaceutical business.
Okay, 2 things. The pharmaceutical bit. Okay, 2 things about that. Okay, since when do MAGA people all of a sudden trust the pharmaceutical industry after Fauci and all this stuff? Yeah, exactly. Okay, and how does he go from in the early 2000s not being able to afford college until Soros' brother paid his way, and now all of a sudden he's a billionaire a few times over, and he's in the pharmaceutical industry? There's a lot of red flags with him.
Well, I'm sure that back then he didn't know that Soros was going to be as bad as they were.
What are you're quoting Vivek? That was his excuse. When was Soros not bad? Do you know Soros turned Jews over to the Nazis in the Second World War? Everybody knows this. And for the last 14, 15 years, he's been backing these pro-criminal district attorneys around the country. Now, everybody knew that. No.
No, that is bad. I get that, Brian. But, at the end of the day, nobody predicted that back then, that he was going to actually do that.
Yes. Now, maybe you just weren't keeping up. Everybody knew. Everybody always knew about George Soros. He didn't just all of a sudden become a thing in 2015. No, he's been around since the Second World War doing things. There's a movie that Spike Lee made about George Soros. It's called The Insider, about a bank robbery, and it's about a billionaire who turned Jews into the Nazis in World War II, who's trying to redeem himself. That movie's about George Soros. Everyone's known about George Soros for decades. He didn't all of a sudden jump onto the scene and become a bad guy in 2015 or something. No, the Soros connections and the pharmaceutical industry connections, I think we don't want that guy in the MAGA movement. I mean, it's okay for him to campaign for Trump and help us get some youth vote, but you can't trust that guy.
Let me ask you a question. Where is that listing that you mentioned, that Trump listing?
It's in every newspaper in the world.
All right, I'll dig it up.
Dig it up. You don't have to dig it up. I mean, it's the lead story everywhere. All right, let's go. Let's see. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ.
Or I could be Jay from Jersey with a.
You never know. When I picked up Jay's call, it sounded like a woman to me when he first said hello when I first went to that call, and then all of a sudden he got that deep Wolfman Jack thing going on.
Yeah. Hey, that list. What makes me happy is who's not on that list, namely Nikki Haley.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, now, I think it's really down to two, and I'm hoping he picks the one. I think it's down to J.D. Vance and Doug Burgum.
I'd agree with that.
So, Doug Burgum has, I think, 4 strikes against him. Number one, what's really bad is he's big pals. He worked in Microsoft.
That's correct.
With Bill Gates.
That's correct. That's big. And Bill Gates with the farmland and the pharmaceutical, that's all very bad.
And then number two, he doesn't bring anything electorally to the table because, come on.
Correct.
Hey, that North Dakota isn't going to go for Trump. What? So that's not even a worry. Number three, this might sound really strange, and maybe it's just me, but I swear to me, he looks like a vampire.
He does. I don't know about vampire, but he doesn't look like. He looks like a funeral director. I get that. Yeah, I saw him at that. Yeah.
I'll go with funeral director. All right, I'll go with that. That's fine. I'll go with funeral director. And number 4 is real important. You know what? Oh my God! I forgot what number 4 was, but
okay. It could have been
charisma.
Yeah, but he's a billionaire businessman, and him and Trump probably connect on that level a lot.
He's a billionaire by being in business with Bill Gates.
That's correct. That's not a good thing. But if Trump picks him, I'll love him. If Trump picks anybody, I'll love him. But I think J.D. Vance is at the top of that list.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Florida guys, you can discount both because of the electoral, losing the Florida electoral vote.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. That is a real thing. I don't think that's something that I've imagined. That's the way it is. And they're not going to let Trump get a Jersey license and say, okay, they're going to say he's a Florida resident.
Yeah. There's no way. You're right about that. So I'm kind of hoping that in my mind that he really likes J.D. Vance, but you can't just rely on one person. You have to vet more than one person just in case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's vetting them all. And, there could be an outside dark horse that this could be some misdirection. But I think J.D. Vance also is what I was talking to Richie about, PJ. he's the most electable nationally as president in 2028. He's got two things against him, though, and they're mild. One is, I believe he's only 39 or 40 years old. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he's like 39 or 40. Okay, that's a little young, so he'd be like 44, by the time the next election. That's very young. And he does have some Silicon Valley connections, too. Remember, he was with AOL?
Yeah.
So he's got that Silicon Valley stuff too. So, but no, hey, listen. Other than Trump, who's going to be perfect, right? But out of that list, he's at the top.
Yeah. Now, one thing though, getting back to this, because I was really glad Nikki Haley. You know what? That might be because have you heard her say one word of support recently for Trump as far as his that?
Very little.
Court trial?
Yeah. Oh, on the court trial? I haven't heard her say anything on the court trial, no.
Yeah. So why should he even put her on the list? Like, hey, you're not even giving me one word of support?
Exactly.
Get it.
Exactly.
Glad. You're done, Nikki.
All right, PJ, good to hear from you. Thanks so much. All right, some good points were made. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Hard Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Now, guys, remember, the Mighty Mega Lion, every Mighty Mega Lion sold. A portion of that sale we donate to the Trump campaign. We made our second donation yesterday to the Trump campaign. Got a huge batch of these that I'm mailing out today when I get off the air. If you order your Mighty Mega Lion today, it will be shipped today. Okay, go to MightyMegaLion.com. There's also a link in the description. If you buy more than one, you get a discount, and that's another donation. Every one you buy, we donate a portion to the Trump campaign. There's also a link in the description of the video, or go to MightyMegaLion.com and order yours. Isn't he cute, just like Trump? This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise wearing the MAGA hat, and these are available exclusively through me. You can't get these anywhere else other than through me at MightyMegaLion.com. And they're very well made, high quality. I mean, you can tell this guy here, I've been bringing this guy around for a long time. Same one. And he looks brand new, doesn't he? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens. We are so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned, family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top-quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Denson, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It's supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right, welcome, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're just tuning in, President Trump has leaked the list of the final 7 that are on his VP list, he sent these people in to be vetted. They're being investigated and vetted to be his pick. And here are the 7. Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Byron Donalds, Ben Carson, and Elise Stefanik. I believe the top 2 on the list that Trump's most likely to pick are J.D. Vance and Doug Burgum. And I think J.D. Vance is probably the best of all of them. And your thoughts certainly are welcome. I want to talk, though, about, before we get back to the news, Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. One of the times I hurt my shoulder, I was going to go see, it was Friday afternoon. I was in so much pain. It was getting late in the day, and I was going to go in Saturday to see Dr. Appleton. And the pain got so bad, I got in the car late in the day, and I went to Dr. Appleton's office. And I didn't call ahead, nothing. I just walked in, and he treated me, because at Dr. Appleton's, walk-ins are welcome. Appointments are not necessary, even on Saturdays or late in the day on Friday like I did. I was in so much pain, and I was so glad I went, because that night, after my first treatment with the laser away pain treatment, the pain was already going away, about half of it gone the first night. I went back the next day on Saturday and got a follow-up, and that was it. Sunday morning I woke up, I was pain-free. His laser away pain treatment works, guys. It absolutely works. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, Appleton Cairo. Give them a call and say bye-bye to your pain. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. I don't know if I'm on air or not.
You are on the air. Yes, you are on the air.
Great. I was trying to get a hold of you guys. My name's Dino, and probably have a text what you're talking about this morning, but I'm Republican all the way, but what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to the election, how so they don't fluff the election.
Well, I don't give you too hard of a time, but Friday is open phones. We can call it, but I'll comment on what you said. What they really should do is voter registration should be like your driver's license. It should expire. It should expire every 4 years, and you have to re-up it. And, driver's licenses, you have to renew them out every so many years, and nobody questions that. And that's how voter registration would be. So that would solve most of those issues. That's the simple. But the problem is those things are handled at the state level, and you'll never get even the Republican establishment would not go along with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a thought, I guess.
No, it's a good thought. It's a good thought. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right, take care. All right, now, did any of you guys see Hannity interview Trump? I want to share this clip with you. This one really pissed me off with Hannity, really aggravated me. This is Hannity with Trump, and they're talking about the lawfare.
Will you pledge to restore equal justice, equal application of our laws, end this practice of weaponization? Is that a promise you're going to make?
Okay. And, what kind of question is that? This lawfare is illegal. Fannie Willis, Bragg, all of them, Merrick Garland, what they're doing is illegal. And why is Hannity trying to get Trump to make a campaign promise that he would oppose any investigation or prosecution of these criminals that are abusing their offices? That's insane. Why should he agree to that? What kind of question is that? Why would he even... Was that a question he came up with? Or was it a question fed to him by these Fox News anti-never-Trumpers over there? I don't know. But this idea that prosecuting criminals in the lawfare cases is revenge, it's not revenge, it's justice. I don't understand that ridiculous question from Hannity. What was he thinking? You're on your own. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy. This is nice. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh.
Yeah, can you roll the window up?
Sorry about that. I'm mobile on the turnpike right now.
That's okay. That's okay. I know it's loud. I took the turnpike in this morning. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is 87 witnesses in D.C. Which one of them is Mark Meadows. So it's not, the D.C. trial will probably start sometime in July.
Slow down for a second. Hold on. Are you driving or is someone else driving?
I have my chauffeur doing the driving, yes. I'm going to my ActicFox appointment.
Somebody's driving?
Yep.
It's
amazing you knew there was wind blowing because the window is open because the air conditioning's not.
Like with the last caller, Friday is open phones. It's only Thursday, but it doesn't surprise me that you don't own a car and can't drive. Oh, really? You own a car? Then why aren't you in it? All right. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. Impact weather today. We're going to see widespread scattered showers and storms tonight, about a 50% coverage, and then it's going to be exceptionally hot today. We're heading for a high of about 93 or so. Underneath the first warning, meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Boynton Beach, 2 middle lanes are blocked for the crash. 95 southbound past Right Road causing slowdowns. A right shoulder's blocked for the crash in Lake Worth and the turnpike southbound at Lake Worth Road. This traffic update is sponsored by Florida Power and Light. At FPL, they're working every day, year-round for storm season. To get ready, visit fpl.com/storm for a storm guide and download the FPL mobile app for real-time updates. FPL, working for you every single day. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC with 65 tables of action. Open daily for cash games, daily high hands, mega bad meat jackpots, and exciting tournaments. Bet small and win big with table games, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum all day, every day. PBKC, your entertainment destination. Go to pbkennelclub.com for more info.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours at the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big lineups. That's why I do any lab test now with Boca and any lab test now with Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either.
I would have talked to him more, but we were up against the break.
I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. To do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. You know, that was Liberal Al the John that called with the chauffeur. And I would have talked to him a little longer, but we were up against the break. He timed his showing off to whoever was driving him. Look, I'm going to get on the radio. Watch, I'm going to call. He timed it wrong because he called right up against the break. But do you notice when Liberal Al has called over the years, he's always on the way to the doctor? And this is what happens with bums out there with our socialized healthcare system. He's got nothing to do. I've got such a long list of things to do. I had to do a bunch of stuff this morning. And this morning I set my alarm for 1:30 in the morning. I had a bunch of stuff to do at home before I came in this morning, and which I did. And I got a long list of things I got to do when I get off the air today at 9. You know, this guy's got nothing to do. So what does he do? He goes to doctors and has procedures all the time that he doesn't need. And why does he do it? Well, he had Obamacare. He's probably old enough now to have Medicare. He's probably had Medicaid before even Obamacare. This is what happens. You know, this entitlement class that live off the dole, they live off the hard work of you and me. That's all they do is go to the doctor, racking up huge bills. It's disgusting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug. What's up?
Oh, man. I didn't know I was on. Sorry. Okay. You know, I'm wondering, I would like to see Mike Huckabee as a potential...
Yeah, but we've got Trump. Trump submitted a list of 7 names to be vetted to be his picks. I'm trying to keep it to that instead of the fantasy generic list.
I just figured he might be a potential to be able to become president. But anyway...
Who did you say, Mike Huckabee?
Mike Huckabee.
No way. First off, I like Mike Huckabee, but he's old as the hills, and he's and he's advertising his sleeping supplements on television all the time. So he takes sleeping pills. He's doing ads on TV for all the time. No, no. But we should stick to the list instead of having some generic conversation and just throwing out names of people we like.
Yeah, but I'm thinking all the list that you mentioned, I don't see anybody is going to be the one who's going to be able to become president.
J.D. Vance, I think, could. He's at the top of Trump's list.
Yeah, I like J.D. Vance. He's the only one that has some potential, but he's kind of new, you know.
That's right. We don't know a lot about him, and he's young. Correct.
That's the only thing. But maybe he talks well, nice guy, and I wouldn't mind him as president if he's what we think he is, but
you never know with these guys. That's right. All right, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, it's Sean, Wesley. What's going on?
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Yo, so 2 things. Remember, Sean Hannity is the one who floated the Hunter Biden pardon back in 2020. So Sean Hannity.
Really?
Yeah. I'll try to send it to you on Twitter.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And hey, I think for VP, I think we want somebody who doesn't have aspirations for 2028. Because I see a Mike Pence going all over.
We have to have somebody ready to pick up the torch for MAGA in 2028. We don't want to give it back to some establishment Republican.
I think we just run Vance in 2028 then. If he's good, let him pan out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I worry about. I worry about them getting in there, grandstanding, pulling the Mike Pence. That's all I worry about.
Anyway, All right. Appreciate it. Now, have any of you heard of Lady MAGA? You know who Lady MAGA is? I heard of Lady MAGA for the first time today. Lady MAGA is a strongly pro-Trump, gay, drag queen Mormon. Okay? A gay man who's a drag queen, loves Trump, loves MAGA, is a Mormon, and goes around as Lady MAGA. And I've never heard of Lady MAGA before. Maybe you guys have. I don't know. I've never heard of Lady MAGA before. But I'm going to start following Lady MAGA because Lady MAGA, the MAGA drag queen, is very good. And I want to play this audio. Lady MAGA went to a gay pride event and interviewed a gay activist woman about Israel and the Gaza terrorists. And this liberal lady who's out there supporting the Gazians and these terrorists and everything against these oppressors in Israel is an average liberal, stupid, doesn't understand anything that's going on. And Lady MAGA, in this brief little street interview at the Gay Pride Festival, just cleaned the clock of this gay activist woman. Okay, so this is Lady MAGA, the Trump-supporting MAGA drag queen.
So I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
Now, the Palestinians, remember, they came into Israel, raped and murdered Israeli girls, and kidnapped a bunch that they're holding as sex slaves now, right? So this feminist lesbian activist is supporting these people, which is very bizarre. But Lady MAGA does their work.
So I did a study abroad in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine.
Would you say you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel?
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that.
How could you not know that? Everybody knows that. Didn't you think everybody knows that they kill gays in these Muslim countries? I thought everybody knew that.
Pro-Palestine.
As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine. How do you react to that?
I didn't know that. So
it is illegal to be gay in Palestine. You are punished by prison or death.
Israel?
No, Israel has gay pride. Israel is completely open to lesbian and gay people. Palestine puts them in prison or kills them. You weren't aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no.
Yeah.
So that does pose an interesting aspect.
Have you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movement.
Yes. That's where it gets gray, right? Like, that's where I feel
well,
like...
for me, it's not gray. I am fearful of Islam because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No.
An Islam country? She started the conversation, this woman, this gay activist lady, by saying she studied abroad in Israel and Palestine, and now she thinks Israel is she didn't say Muslim country, an Islam country. She doesn't know that Israel's the Jewish state.
Jewish.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
Okay.
Oh boy, that's your typical liberal, isn't it? Oh my goodness, clueless. That's it. Now, yesterday, all these stories came out in very liberal places like the New York Times, Politico, about Biden's cognitive decline. And this was the worst story of all because they were citing sources in Biden's inner circle as well as members of Congress that are Democrats that are in private meetings with Biden, and they described how when he's in private, he is out of it. I mean, really bad. So, why is this story coming out by the Democrats right now? It looks like they're trying to push Biden out, right? And I think that the Bidens are fearful that they're going to be pushed out. And they should be. This cognitive story, which is true, for the left to be highlighting that shows they want him out, right? And, we've got the first debate with Trump and Biden later this month. I cannot wait. It's going to be a beautiful debate. I cannot wait for that. And I believe, and when the debates were announced, when Biden made the challenge, I said to you guys, I said, I think Biden is doing these debates because he thinks having the debate scheduled will firm up the nomination. He's like taking ownership of the nomination before the convention by having debates already. This is like the earliest debate we've ever had between presidential candidates. And it's a big deal because this is the first presidential debate we've seen between two presidents. Right? It's usually like a president versus a senator, a president versus a governor, something like that. Having two presidents usual. So obviously that's what's in play here. And I wanted to run this by you. There's no scenario where the Democrats have a path to victory. But I think I have figured out what their best path is to have any hope of anything. Of and I'm not saying. And by the way, this Michelle Obama thing is a fantasy that people have. If Biden had to step aside because of his cognitive issues, that makes Kamala Harris the president of the United States. And I'll tell you, out of everyone the Democrats have, they would do best with her than any of them. She would be president. She would already be president if Biden stepped down or was forced out, right? So they could mount a whole campaign. First woman president, and she's a minority, right? Because she's black and Indian. And out of everyone they have, Gavin, Newsom, all these people, Kamala Harris is the one that would give Trump, not that Trump would lose, I'm not saying that, but she would give Trump the best run for his money. Because she would be the sitting president, and she's the first female president, and she's a double racial minority. So people just assume they'd skip her over for the nomination. That's not easily done. Skipping over both of them? Mm-mm. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think that the Democrats see that as their best hope to at least not be as embarrassed? And then they get a big check mark. Woman and racial minority will have been president. All right, 1-888-465-2631 is our number. It's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years, but not anymore. It's all gone, thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain system. I'm in studio right now with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, how'd you do it?
Well, I treated your knee pain with laser. Treatment is simple and no side effect. I have robotic lasers that have a wonderful effect on joint pain. These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help them with.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendinitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up to the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you know trust and experience are two big qualities to look for. And as it turns out, my friend Jupiter Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to JupiterJoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, I just want to give a shout out to my coffee. This is very important. Anybody that has any kind of acid reflux, if you try the low acidic coffee of my coffee, it is absolutely the best. I wasn't able to drink coffee for years, and I tried it, and now I can drink the coffee with no problem whatsoever. It's absolutely delicious. The flavor is like a tastier flavor.
Just answering some DMs and emails.
I don't get stomach aches. I don't get anything. I'm so happy with it, and I think that you ought to mention it. I think it's important, especially for older people.
Mike Lindell says that his coffee, the My Coffee, which is 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com, is the best tasting coffee you've ever had.
Absolutely true. I have tried over the years other coffees, and nothing comes near his, and that really is the truth.
50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. Stand by. I want to add on to the recorded message that you heard with John Tesh from Jupiter Joe Thomas. Now, of course, Joe Thomas, you can call and get free copies of his great book, The Retirement Know-It-All. I have read this book. It is a quick, easy read filled with all kinds of actionable advice. But I want to add on that he's also offering free phone consultations. That's amazing. You know, you get a free phone consultation with a top guy in the field who has over 30 years of experience in financial and retirement planning. It's pretty amazing. Give him a call. No matter where you're located, you can take advantage of this. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra, what's up?
Listen, did you happen to see this clip from The View where Joe Biden was on?
Yeah, I saw that a few days. It was from last week. Which part? Which absurd statement?
I forgot the name of that guy that was really pounding on her, but he said to her, right to her face, "You should be ashamed of yourself."
Oh, I'd missed that. Wait, a guy they had a man on The View?
Yeah, and he said you should be ashamed of yourself.
Over what?
That. Well, because she's going on and on and on about how he's energetic, he's smart, he's gonna.
I don't think there was a man. I watched that interview. I didn't see a man. You may have seen a commentator talking about it. I didn't see a man part of that panel. They don't let testicles and penises on that panel ask questions, unless they're gay.
I forgot what his name was, but it looked like it was real. But then again, it could not have been.
Yeah, that wasn't. No, he was not part of the panel. You know, she should be you know what she really. You know, she's got 2 kids. They're both junkies. One's up on gun charges. Hunter is going to be acquitted, by the way. You know, the prosecution is going to rest maybe today in that case. Today or tomorrow, but maybe today.
I think so too. I think he's going to be acquitted. Absolutely.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, they've had two women at least that he was involved with that were talking about finding crack everywhere, right? One of them said he was smoking crack every 20 minutes. One of them hid the gun. They gave her immunity. You know, so what's going on here? I mean, it looks to me that this is a show trial, acquittal coming.
Either going to vote for my husband, who's smart and energetic and wonderful, and leading the country the way a direction it should be going, or you're going to vote for chaos.
Well, this is the deal, okay? I know everybody says Obama's running the country. That's not true. He's involved. She's running the country. She's the one there. And, you know, wives rule the roost, especially when their husbands and, you know, in that kind of condition. Jill Biden is really the unofficial president of the United States and has been the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's other people around him, though. I don't think it's just her.
The country is being run by committees where people have their little kingdoms, you know, because there's no true leadership. But she's the one that's got the ear and the pen and everything else. She's the main runner of the country is Jill Biden.
I caught the missed portion of your show this morning, and then I came into the fact that you said that there's 7 people that he's considering to be the...
Trump has 7 people being vetted. He's given out 7 names. These are people that they're doing the background checks on by the campaign. J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Ben Carson.
Marco Rubio.
No.
Maybe that's Maybe I'm thinking back to 2016 a little bit.
Yeah, remember he was making jokes about the hand sizes and stuff. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, well, you know what? Maybe he's changed. Maybe
He has, I interviewed him when he was running for re-election last time. I don't know if you guys heard that interview. He was on my podcast. I don't know if I played it on the radio. But it was a very good interview, unlike one he had ever done before, and actually called me after to compliment me on the interview. It was a really good interview. You don't usually get callbacks from U.S. senators like that out of the blue. But that because he called me back isn't why he's matured a lot since 2015, 2016 is what I'm saying. He was a little young and he's matured.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think so. And, I think maybe he'll be good, and maybe he would be a proper fit.
Listen, he's not you're a woman. I mean, he's bald. Is he handsome, Marco Rubio?
To me?
Yeah. Not really, right? He's all right. Is he average? Is he handsome?
I'm not into short guys. That's what
Okay. Well, I don't know I've never met him. I don't know how tall he is, but he's average looking, and before he was rich, famous, and a United States senator with average looks and a receding hairline, somehow he got a Miami Dolphins cheerleader to marry him. So, he's got some negotiation skills.
Yeah.
You gotta respect the guy for that. It'd be like if you married a Miami Dolphins cheerleader now, I'd say, okay, he's a U.S. senator, and all this stuff. But he was like nothing then.
Yeah. I actually, I work for a doctor that takes care of children with special needs. And he wrote to Senator Rubio, and Senator Rubio wrote it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed with him when he ran in that and it's not because he did by the way, he called me to ask if I would interview him. Okay, I didn't call him to set up an interview. They called me, which I was pretty amazed by. But I don't let all that oh wow, they thought of me enough, I'm going to support him. He has matured, and you know what? He was very loyal to Trump in his first term, and he's been very loyal in this in between period.
What about Ben Carson? No?
Ben Carson is a nice guy, but he puts you to sleep. Well, a lot of smart people, but he has zero personality. People that are I've known people that are surgeons. Most surgeons, they're not like in the movies, these hunky guys and hot women, and they take the scrubs off and they're ripped. Most of them are like him. They're very mild-mannered, very little personality. You have to have that kind of personality to do that kind of work. He's no charisma. He puts you to sleep, and I would say on that list he's towards the bottom.
Yeah, and you know what? It is 8 years later, so.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, good to hear from. All right, take care. Good call. All right, thanks. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Louise, the masked lady.
Yes, Louise. Yes, Louise.
Yes. Well, I know it's not open MAGA Mike Friday, but it would be nice to mention that it's D-Day, 80 years since Normandy.
Yes.
Today, and it would be nice to honor the veterans that are still alive.
Well, we're here till 9. I just haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, I hope you do mention it. Thank you.
Yes. But you're right. It's not open phones. How dare you call and bring up something? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Tom from North Palm Beach.
Hey, Tom, can you roll up the window or take off the Bluetooth or something?
Yeah, I'm on the Bluetooth. I'm sorry. I just wanted at least Stefanik could bring the woman vote in, I think.
Maybe, yeah, possibly. I like her. She's tough.
Yeah, I know a lot of women that hate Trump just because they think he's a womanizer, and that's why they won't vote for him.
Part of before he was in politics, part of the Trump brand was this Playboy image. And I remember when he announced he was running, I assumed he had like an island in the Bahamas or something with Victoria's Secret models on it. I didn't realize that was just an image.
Yeah. And then as far as Vance goes, I don't think he's too young. If he's pushing 45.
I don't. No. I don't think he's 45. I think I'm going to look it up. I think he's like 39 or 40. But I'll look it up. I don't know.
If he becomes nominee, he'll be pushing 40.
That's young. The youngest president was Teddy Roosevelt, and he was 41. Okay, so that's pretty young to be president.
We need some youth in there, I think.
Well, we need to have some MAGA people on our bench after Trump's second term. Listen, thanks for the call, man. The winds drive me nuts. I did very much plan on talking about D-Day, but now I feel like, should I? If I talk about D-Day, will Louise the Mask Lady think I'm only doing it because she suggested it with that lovely voice of hers? I don't know. We'll see. All right, we'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
So at least it's in what, New York?
Yeah, Lee Stefanik.
So I think that could probably be the best bet because I know we were talking about New York might be New York might.
Yeah, it could be.
Too.
Yeah.
So I think if that, if we get New York, we have the lease as voice, I feel like that would be a good push.
That's possible. That's definitely possible.
Like you said, get a state that we don't have, Ohio or New York would be big.
Yeah, that's true. It could help with that. Mike was talking about how Stefanik being from New York could help get New York. Oh, okay.
Contracting, roofing, and building restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602, or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Grab your flip-flops and get ready for a summer in paradise on Margaritaville at Sea, where cruises to the Bahamas now start at just $75 a person for a limited time. Dance the night away at our high-energy poolside parties, then settle in for island-inspired cuisine night after night with your favorite plus one. From fins up to sundown, a Bahamas getaway with Margaritaville at Sea is the perfect summer refresh. Book it today to lock in your savings on your next cruise together at margaritavillatSea.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all-natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, one and all. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number, by the way, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I just got a message from a listener about something I talked about involving Sean Hannity in the last hour. So I want to go back to that just for a minute and read you this comment. And by the way, you don't have to send anonymous keyboard warrior comments. I'm taking screenless calls here. You can call me out on the carpet on the air and make a fool out of me. You don't have to do it the keyboard warrior kind of way. But Hannity interviewed President Trump last night. Pretty good interview, and part two tonight. But he asked one question that I thought just I didn't like the way he asked it. Not that Hannity cares what I like or not, but the way he crafted this question I didn't like. So let me play this now. Hannity is asking President Trump about all this lawfare.
You pledge to restore equal justice, equal application of our laws, end this practice of weaponization. Is that a promise you're going to make? You have to.
Okay, so the way I took that, and I'm open to be wrong about this, but that sounded like a CNN question. That sounded like something I expect Fake Tapper or Dana Bash to ask during the debate on CNN later this month with Trump and Biden. Because it sounds like he's trying to get Trump to make a campaign promise that he's not going to support the prosecution of all these criminals like Bragg and Merrick Garland and Fannie and Letitia and all the rest. That's how it sounded to me. What do you guys think? Did it sound like that kind of question? And I got a comment here from a listener. This is what they wrote. And like I said, butch up, man. All right. He says, I think you're wrong about Hannity. All he asked was whether Trump is going to end the weaponization of government. Now, the next sentence is doesn't make sense to me. Okay? Then they go on to say, maybe you should have another cup of coffee before making a buy, B-Y, period. And then they put an emoji of a face laughing so hard they're in tears. What are they trying to say? Maybe you should have another cup of coffee before making a buy? What does that mean? B-Y. And what in the emojis of the guy laughing so hard he's crying? Are you laughing at your illiteracy there? I don't know. That's it. I don't know what he means. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi?
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hi. How are you, Brian?
All right. I'm all right. How are you?
Yes, hi. I was thinking for a long time about this hatred of Trump, and I think, that's my opinion, and okay, I think he should have, how to say, make his own party. Do you understand? Like,
say that again. He should have done what? Say who should have made their own what?
Like create, like make his own like a party. You know, like a
Trump should have started the MAGA party and started a third party.
Yes.
Why? He's just taken over the entire Republican Party.
I don't think so. And
yes.
I don't like him.
Who doesn't like Trump? Who doesn't like Trump that would like him if he had his own party? What does that mean?
Still makes me laugh. Oh my God.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Let me give you up to speed here. The Republican Party has. Do you know how the party establishment has been completely overthrown? Okay, by the Trump family. The Republican establishment. Well, hold on. I'm trying to. There's something that's happened that you obviously don't understand. So I'm explaining it to you. Okay, I'm not trying to be rude, but I want you to understand what's happened here because what Trump has done is amazing. The Republican establishment has maintained power over the party by controlling the RNC, which is the fundraising operation for the Republicans, and the Trump family just took it over. Laura Trump, Eric's wife, is running it. So Donald Trump made the right decision, not starting a third loser party, and he took back the Republican Party and took over the RNC. It's amazing what he's done. No, you're wrong. What he did was the right way.
Okay, so maybe you should like continue in that direction.
Yes.
Change the name because the problem is you know when you think of Republicans, I'm like analyzing, you know, like psychology. You think of this war with Iraq, Dick Cheney, Bush.
Yeah.
I think you should change the name and just MAGA, Trump. MAGA.
No, when I think of the Republican Party outside of Trump, I think of Ronald Reagan and Abraham Lincoln. I that's the Republican Party. You know, we've had some war criminals like Bush and Cheney, but for the most part, the Republican Party. You know, third parties, the way the system works, are losers. If Trump went third party, he wouldn't win. He would not win. There's an apparatus in place with the party, and you need that in today. You can't run on a third party and win the presidency. Even Trump.
I think Trump he can. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's your opinion. You know what they say about those, right? You know what they say about opinions?
Right.
They're like, I can't say it on the radio, they're like blank. Everybody's got one.
Oh, my God.
I know. No, I appreciate your call. I appreciate your call. You make some good points. I don't mean to give you a hard time. Thanks for calling. All right. Take care. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's George. I'm from Kentucky.
Yes, George.
The thing what I don't understand, Brian, is why you were bothered by that. I mean, that's all CNN did was ask softball questions. I think Trump is so smart. There's not a question out there that he's not prepared to answer. You know what I mean?
No, it sounded to me like Hannity, and I stand to be corrected. It sounded like Hannity was trying to get Trump to pledge to not prosecute these people that are waging the lawfare.
Get that, but I think they need to be prosecuted, obviously. But
well, does Hannity think that? But does Trump think that? Well, I don't know. The way he crafted the question to me sounded like he doesn't want that to happen. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounded. It sounded to me like Hannity doesn't want that to happen.
Well, Sean Hannity, who knows? You know what I mean?
Trump can handle any question. No. I'm not saying people should go easy on Trump. I think Trump can handle the most difficult questions. You know.
For any question.
Yeah. I'm trying to get inside the mind of Hannity.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, how you doing? This is Ron at W West Palm.
Hey, what's up?
I'm Oh, well, that's a good one right there. I would have really expected that out of Glenn Beck with a type of question like that. But Sean Hannity, for some reason, it's been like you say, he's been pushing that issue, and I don't think he really should push that issue because it's not right. Like I said, the only way you can clean up what has been done is to make sure they get the end result of what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only right. If you don't do that, then you have given them a free rein for everything.
See, what they're trying to do is get this narrative going that if Trump supports the prosecution of these criminals in their lawfare, that he's weaponizing government, that what he's doing is political, and it's not. These people are breaking the law, and the way that the way Hannity asked the question, just to me sounds like he doesn't want justice done with those people. That's how it sounded to me. Now I could be wrong, but that's it.
Hey, no, because I heard him say it in a way on his program once.
Oh, okay.
We should kind of like look the other way and talk. All this looking the other way has gotten us in.
Yeah, that's why before Trump, Republicans were losers. Because they always want to look the other way.
Because Democrats don't care what you think. They don't care what you say. They do what they're going to do, and the end result,
Yeah, and they never apologize. They never apologize, and they never meet in the middle. And they never meet in the middle.
So true. They never. That's all I really wanted to say.
Well, no, good call, great call.
Yeah, he should stay his course.
Mm-hmm. Great call. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. All right, we'll be right back.
Cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Great. How'd the workshop go?
It went very well. Thank you for
great
about that. Yeah. So I think we have one more coming up in about 2 weeks, and then we're going to take a hiatus in July and then Zoom in August. But what I wanted to talk about today is just something that I think we can all agree on, that sometimes there's certain things that are not easy to express verbally. When you talk to a family member, a loved one, whether it be your parents or children or whatever, even though we love them dearly, sometimes it's very hard to verbally express it. And and you always hear about people saying, I wish I had, let this person know how I felt. I wish I had told them how much I love them more often. But then the other phenomenon I want to mention is the saying of, your words speak so loudly and I can't hear a word you're saying. There's words and then there's actions. And so my point this morning is absolutely let the people you know, people that you love, know how you feel about them. But also I'd encourage people to take action to actually show it. And how do you show it? There's many ways to show it. But one of them, of course, we're an estate planning law firm to help people set up, to have people set up their estate planning to take care of the people they love, to do the right things, to not leave a mess behind, so that the people that you love are taken care of. It's really a way of saying I love them after you've passed. Make sure that they know how you felt, that you really cared enough to take care of them and do the right thing.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And also, I just mentioned, some people will say when it comes to probate, well, I'm going to be dead, so what? Think about this when it comes to probate, all that money that the lawyers are going to get. How many sacrifices have you made in your life to build your nest egg? What vacations did you not take? What dinners did you not go out to save a little money up to leave? You're going to give all that sacrifice for sorry, I'm going to badmouth lawyers. All that sacrifice for lawyers' fees? That's crazy. Set everything up. Avoid that probate too. Now, it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, okay? The number is 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Steve.
All righty, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I was just reading this story in the Daily Mail. There's a national story about a crazed transgender liberal in Martin County. Did you see this story? An anti-Trump cross-dressing man smashed his car into the Martin County jail. He then went on to hurl snakes, shouted, "The devil told me to kill everyone," and then started ranting about President Trump. A homeless man wearing women's clothes, this is in the Daily Mail, intentionally rammed his car into the side of the Martin County jail Monday night before embarking on a rant about Donald Trump. Boy, this guy's very politically active in Martin County. You think he's a listener? You think he's a listener? I don't know. I wonder if he's Never Trumper Steve. Is that you, Never Trumper Steve? No, I doubt it. I doubt that's Never Trumper Steve. His name's Joseph. He stands accused of 4 counts of aggravated assault on a police officer, 1 count of criminal mischief, resulting in some other things. Okay, surveillance footage shows the suspect driving from the Martin County Jail parking lot, up the walkway, and through the Martin County Jail's glass lobby doors. He was stopped by a set of steel security doors further inside. No one was in the lobby at the time. He was taken into custody. He was wearing a blouse and no pants. Ugh, gross. No pants. Let's see here. It says here, after exiting the car wearing a blouse and no pants to pour motor oil on the floor of the jail, he said he wanted to set the jail on fire. He also slammed President Trump. Oh, my goodness. Now he's gone too far. He expressed a desire to kill everyone. He threw rubber snakes on the jailhouse floor. He fought with deputies and the fire rescue personnel who were responding. The crash, which cops said will be very costly, is currently under investigation. I watched the video, and it's pretty brutal. Let's see. Do we got any other information here on this? I don't know. But I when these things happen, this guy could be a listener. Video shows a Toyota halfway inside the jail lobby with its doors ripped off, along with a pink backpack seized from the suspect. The backpack had a sticker on it that reads, "Girl Power." Oh, my goodness. The motor oil meant to burn down the facility can also be seen. Let's see here. They added that he's from Illinois. He lives in Key Largo, 3 hours away from Martin County. We don't know why he was in Martin County. They say he was homeless. Was he living in the Toyota? I don't know. Let's see here. Anything else about this guy that's interesting? After he crashed through, he exited the vehicle, no pants on, in a blouse. He grabbed a black container that appeared to be oil from the trunk of the vehicle. Smoke was coming out of the front of the vehicle. They tased him and then subdued him. I guess he was so hopped up on whatever, the tasing didn't knock him out. He said, "The devil made me do it. Why didn't you shoot me? Why didn't you shoot me in the butt?" Using some salty language. He says, "I came in here to kill police," he said. And he also was trying to get shot because he asked why they didn't shoot him. And that's it. And he was ranting about Trump. But they don't say what he said about Trump. I don't know. You could be a listener. You never know. Liberals are... Have you noticed there's been an increase in crimes committed by the transgender community? We've had some shootings, some mass shootings, multiple shooting incidents. I know this is a stretch. This is a stretch if you watch your mainstream media, but there may be a mental health epidemic among the transgender community, because transgender people are not just committing violent crimes, sometimes deadly crimes, like the transgender person that shot up that Christian school in Nashville, but there was other shooting incidents with transgender people since then. There's an epidemic of violence being committed by the transgender in this country. And you got to ask yourself, what's that about? And of course there's a mental illness component to it. But you can't say, you're not supposed to publicly say that, because they're just living their best life, right? Now, yesterday on MSNBC, they I guess they had a seance, or they brought in the Reanimator, from that movie. They brought back a fossil to bash Trump, Chris Matthews. And, Chris Matthews, he was on MSNBC yesterday talking about Trump. I'll play the clip in a minute. This guy, what's scary about it, when for many, many years, Chris Matthews' show was the political show of record. And then they fired him from MSNBC. I don't exactly remember why. Was it during that Me Too movement? I don't remember. Why did they fire Chris Matthews from MSNBC? And he's an old-time Democrat. I mean, he's, very old-time Democrat. He worked for Jimmy Carter. He worked for Tip O'Neill, who was the Democrat Speaker of the House in the 80s when Reagan was president. He's an old-time Democrat, and he's a foaming at the mouth Trump hater these days. Let me play this clip, then we'll talk about it. This is Chris Matthews talking about Trump. Oh, hold on. I got to turn up the volume. Where am I? Okay, there we are.
Score.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, Trump could end up rolling the score. I've got the Congress. I've got the Supreme Court. I own it all. I am a dictator. It's very reasonable to assume that's where he's headed.
Okay. Now, he lost all credibility with that thrill down the leg comment during Obama's first day. You guys remember this? This was amazing. People make it a gay thing, but it wasn't. Chris Matthews, after Obama's first State of the Union, he was doing the commentary on MSNBC and NBC News, and he was so amazed that a black man gave this compelling State of the Union address. He said it gave him a thrill down his leg. And people always make sexual innuendos about that, and I get that. But he's just an old Democrat racist who thought it was, it was like Biden, who thought someone should write a book about Obama because he was articulate and clean. He thought a black man who's articulate in a speech like that is so unusual that he got very excited and got a thrill down his leg. And that was the beginning of the end of his career. I don't know what finally pushed him out. But Chris Matthews, this dictator thing, I've been watching too much of the liberal news lately because of the Trump trial. And, this dictator thing is a common theme. And, of course, they're preaching to their mob, the liberal Democrat mob, when they talk about that. But what is he talking about? Notice how they frame things. And what Chris Matthews is talking about here is he is assuming, and he's an old-time political guy, so his analysis of things, of how elections are going to turn out and future projections is based on, his very expert knowledge of such things. So he's predicting Trump wins the presidency, Democrats have a larger majority in the House, and we take back the Senate. So he's, and notice what he's doing. See, this is a major concession. But the way they're going to label that is, he's got his dictatorship now. Now, when the Democrats control and we'll have the Supreme Court too. Chris Matthews left that part out. When Democrats control everything, that's fine. That's the power to the people, and the people have spoken. But now this narrative they have is if Republicans control both houses of Congress and the White House, that's a dictatorship. It's unfair. And, that makes sense to them. That's how they think. Democrats, their arrogance is that they think that their way is the way. Louise said, talk about January 6th. So, I'm very reluctant because I don't want her to think I'm talking about it because of her. But I will say this. Or not January 6th, June 6th, D-Day. I was thinking a lot about this with D-Day. I saw them reel out these 100-year-old guys. I am suspicious of everything the government does now when I've seen the way they operate towards Trump. I'm suspicious of everything. We've got this fake war in Ukraine that's a money grab. Vietnam was a money grab. The Iraq war was a money grab. You've seen what they've done. And this week, when I started seeing all these D-Day celebrations, the 80th anniversary, and this is not to take away for anyone who's there now that's a survivor, or all those great American and Allied men who lost their lives on D-Day. This is not to take away from what they've done, because I got a lot of respect for that. But I'm really starting to wonder, was that D-Day invasion necessary? It was a suicide mission. You know how many guys died there? Oh, my goodness, those poor guys. And many of them were teenagers. A lot of them were like 15 and 16 years old that lied about their age, and they didn't check things back then, and they're dead on Normandy. The U.S. forces and our allies were in Italy in 1943. We had the Russians, right, on the east side of Germany. We had the Allied forces south in Italy. Why did they do this suicide run in Normandy? Was it really necessary? Now, it's not a politically correct thing to say, and I don't want you to think I'm taking away anything from the veterans or those who sacrificed there, okay? But, you know, even the ones who survived, every day was a survival mission for them, right? How many guys died 3 weeks later, 3 months later, 6 months later that survived Normandy because you were in till the end? And I am so suspicious of everything the government does today that I'm even, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of you guys are very sus on everything they do, including the Normandy invasion, which I'm not really sure was necessary. But, you know, these rich guys in the military-industrial complex, they don't care about regular people. All right, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. There you go, Louise. I talked about D-Day. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the
the political impact here, obviously, we're in the early stages, but we know that Laura Trump, who's chair of the RNC, said on another network this morning they had raised $70 million in 48 hours.
Security system plus your choice of a free indoor monitoring camera or programmable thermostat. Call 833-283-5050 now. 833-283-5050 and make sure the next home to be burglarized isn't yours.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian, and sorry I had my speaker on. I just turned it off.
Okay, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, you know, we were talking about Vice President picks, and I just want to ask a question because Elise Stefanik is a very articulate, sharp, feisty woman, and I think Trump needs help in the women and the minorities, and she might not be a bad pick because she might even help. I think New York's in play.
Yeah, and a list for people that are just tuning in, a list was leaked out of the Trump campaign of 7 contenders to be Trump's running mate, and these are the names of people that Trump is having vetted right now. Okay, and one of them was Elise Stefanik. You know, Mike, our board op, came in during the break a little while ago. He said the same thing. And Stefanik does bring something to the table. You know, the Democrats are making, for some reason, abortion a big issue. She does help with women, and she would help with New York. Okay, she would help with New York. There's no doubt about it. So, and plus, she's good, tough, and loyal. And I would trust Elise Stefanik more than when it comes to being loyal to Trump. She's right up there these days with Marjorie Taylor Greene almost.
I was just going to say that, Brian, but she's a little bit more articulate and not so much blatant in your face as Marjorie. She's more, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Ease, you know.
And I'll tell you, I met her at Mar-a-Lago, okay? And I mentioned this earlier, but not the whole thing. I didn't recognize her at first because she's really tiny, and she's so tough on television. I'm expecting her to be, big, but she's really tiny. But she's very charming and no ego. She's very down to earth, very normal. I mean, I was very impressed with her personality.
That's a good word. MTG, and I love her, and we all do love her, but she's got a little ego chip on her shoulder, and Elise doesn't. I think that's the way to put it. Do you understand that?
I know what you mean. Yeah. And ego is a very bad quality. These ego things sometimes, and it can be very self-destructive. I was surprised at how normal she was.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very down to earth. And can I mention one thing about Hannity? I remember an interview was several years ago, and he got little snippy with President Trump, and almost condescendingly talked down to him about a question. I don't remember what it was. It turned me off so bad I've never listened to him since.
Well, I'll tell you. Okay, what happens to these guys? I've always liked Hannity, and I got a lot of respect for Hannity. My wife and I met him once at Disney World in line for Dumbo when my daughter was little and his daughter was little. And I talked to him quite a bit because it was a long line, and we kept passing each other. You know how those lines go in rides, up and down, up and down, up and down. And no one recognized him but me, which I was surprised. He didn't have his hair and makeup done. And, but and then we rode Dumbo together. We were on Dumbo elephants. Right. He was right behind me. I was right in front of him. It was crazy. So I rode Dumbo with Sean Hannity. But what happens with these guys at that level is they become friends. There's two things that happen. They become friends with these other politicians. And that influences how they treat Trump and talk about things. That's one thing, okay? Because they become friends with people like Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and others, and that affects them. And another thing is they make Fox News hates Trump. That doesn't mean everybody on Fox News does, but management hates Trump. And Hannity, he makes over $50 million a year. He went through a divorce a few years ago, okay, from his wife that was with him when he was nobody and broke. So he's got a big nut every month. And even though he's making over $50 million a year, he's got the new place in Palm Beach by Mar-a-Lago. He's got the alimony. He's got the kids. He's got Ainsley. There are a lot of guys that make that kind of money that are like paycheck to paycheck. You'd be surprised. And they pay, and these guys make so much money, they don't rock the boat, and they go kind of along with the establishment, which would be the Never Trumpers a little bit sometimes.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Ainsley, because they hooked up and ended up getting divorced and hurting their families to get hooked up together. And that,
I don't know about the timeline there. Hannity was split from his wife for years before it was public. No, but I
stayed at home and took care of the kids, and he was crushed.
Really, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that he was that Sean Hannity's a homewrecker. I did not know that.
But anyway, and in getting back to women and minorities, because I believe those two groups of people Trump needs to really pay attention to, because I do believe that New York's in play and other states that normally aren't. I think he could win Maine. And even though it's only 2 votes, every vote counts this time. We need to stay focused on liberals. And I learned that from you and Steve, that we can't be like them and just start name-calling.
Correct.
Defensive. But find that common ground. Like, was it Jay the other day that said he was against what they were doing to Caitlin Clark?
Yes.
He jumped, why did you do that? And you engaged him and tried to bring him in because if they can see one issue, Brian, they will open up their minds to other. And there's many long-term Democrats do not like what happened to their party. And really quick, my dad had voted Democrat his whole life until Obama's second term. He goes, he got me once, he'll never get me again. And he voted for Trump. He couldn't stand Hillary Clinton. And I believe he would have voted Republican mostly, but he done it publicly because the group of people they hang out with the Democrats would chastise and turn their backs on them.
That's correct.
You don't need to publicly do it, but in person, face to face, engage these people.
No, you're right. Listen, black liberals, more than they realize, agree with Trump on almost everything. And, there's a lot of brainwashing that goes on, and they agree with us so much more than they realize. All right, Jeff, good call. Thanks so much. All right, take care. Jeff's one of our best callers. He's very good. He's always on topic and brings up some things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I heard you talking. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Jose. I actually got you on Bluetooth because I keep losing reception, and I wanted to ask you if you're on any other channel. I got a new truck, and I don't know. I get every other channel except yours.
Well, where are you? Where are you located? What station do you normally listen to us on?
I'm listening to
Oh my gosh! Oh no, there's no. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. I had to discontinue the call. He said the S word. I know we didn't mean to say the S word, but he said the S word. I was going to recommend that if he's listening on the radio, tune over to 95.3. Okay, if you tune over to 95.3. That's Northern Broward and South Palm Beach County. You should be able to pick us up on 95.3 FM. It's too bad he said, and it happens. It happens. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, brother Brian, IB.
Hey.
I think when Jeff was trying to look for a word to describe Elise Stefanik, which I always thought she was fantastic, I thought not only that she's sharp, she's diplomatic,
and she's kind of like walking tall, carrying the big stick. You know, walk quietly and carrying the big stick.
Now, well, walking tall was Sheriff. What was the name of the walking tall sheriff? Buford. Yeah.
But he carried the 2x4. But in politics, they walk softly and carry the.
Yes.
And Nixon. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea to win women's vote. And what if they have an agreement? Because we just heard about her in the last moment. So what if they have an agreement where if Trump can bring her in with the understanding that maybe he does not pick her to be the president after the term because we want to get all the women vote and the Democrats want to say, oh, black woman, this and that, check boxes. We can check boxes too by bringing her in to because stern is the word I was looking for. She's stern. It's to answer Jason.
Well, I remember when Hunter walked in with his posse into that House hearing, she was all over him. Remember that a few months ago? She is tough. She is fearless.
People believe after everything, especially with Louise calling and talking about Memorial Day. Remember, these people use us as toy soldiers, us people. Okay, all the war maybe have been for naught, like Brian says about Normandy. If you really, really think about it, because Trump brought all of these things to the light that we might have never known. Okay, so we're learning things that have happened in the past, and the same people are there, the same people in power, always continuing doing what they're doing. They're never. We can only defeat them through the vote.
See, this thing with Normandy, I just don't understand. We were already in Europe and Italy. We had the Russians, so we were in Russia. We're in Italy. They could bomb the tar out of them. Why was that suicide mission in Normandy? This is no disrespect to anyone who served there and lost their lives or the survivors today, but it just seems to me like it may not have been necessary. And because look at this 20-year war in Afghanistan. Come on, we know what that was about. Vietnam, Ukraine today, Iraq.
Since I can't change the names on the list and say who I would want to be vice president, I'm going to pick Byron Donald. Okay.
Okay.
Pretty, if minority.
Oh, okay. So you're a supporter of affirmative action?
No, not at all.
Well, why is the first thing you say you want to pick him because he's black?
I'm messing with the Democrats' head. Plus, I believe he will be also a good vice president. Not that I don't like any of the others.
Joy Reid has the hots for Byron Donalds. He cleaned her clock, but she's got a thing for him. I can tell. You can tell. Go back and watch, after I'm off the air, go back and watch Joy Reid with Brian Donalds. She's giddy. She's.
I'll pick Elisa Stefanik. Just a comment on yesterday. Yes, let the liberals call in as moronic as they are.
Okay, all right, AIB. I appreciate the call. He keeps going from thing to thing. That when it comes to chronic callers, okay, chronic caller is you can be chronic and call every day and not be a bad caller. IB's not a bad caller, but he's a chronic caller. Anytime the discussion ends, he jumps to another topic. And I reckon he did that like 3 times before the last time. I let him do it. I don't know why. I got other people on hold, but when a caller does that, they never want the conversation to end. So he immediately pivots to something else. Boom, boom, boom. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Grab your flip-flops and get ready for a summer in paradise on Margaritaville at Sea, where cruises to the Bahamas now start at just $75 a person for a limited time. Dance the night away at our high-energy poolside parties, then settle in for island-inspired cuisine
kind of acid reflux. If you try the low acidic coffee of my coffee, it is absolutely the best. I wasn't able to drink coffee for years, and I tried it, and now I can drink the coffee with no problem whatsoever. It's absolutely delicious. The flavor is like a tastier flavor than regular coffee. I'm telling you, I don't get stomach aches. I don't get anything. I'm so happy with it, and I think that you ought to mention it. I think it's important, especially for older people.
Mike Lindell says that his coffee, the My Coffee, which is 50% off with our promo code Kane, check out Kane at mypillow.com, is the best tasting coffee you've ever had.
Absolutely true. I have tried over the years other coffees, and nothing comes near his, and that really is the truth.
50% off with our promo code Kane, check out Kane at mypillow.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, call us on hold, stand by. You know, what we were talking about today, which started all these conversations, was President Trump's campaign leaked out a list of the 7 people that Donald Trump is having vetted to be his running mate. And they are Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Ben Carson. And that's what we've been talking about. I think the best pick is J.D. Vance. I really do. I think he's the best. Not only does he help with Ohio, I think he's, out of all of these people, he's the one most likely to be able to win a national election for president in 2008. I mean, in 2020. I'm getting like Biden in 2028. And that's what I'm looking at. I mean, we got to have a bench of people. Most everybody here is good, but he would be my first pick, would be J.D. Vance. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Danielle from Trenton, Michigan. How are you today?
All right, Michigan. What's up?
Hey, just real quick. I'm going with J.D. Vance. I'm not only looking for someone to be a good VP, but I'm looking beyond that, and I'm looking for someone that's going to carry on the MAGA. And also, JD's going to really help Ohio and Pennsylvania. I like all the picks. I'm not picking someone for color or for sex. I'm going to go for JD because I think he's going to be a great...
Well, the thing about... what I'm thinking about is the second MAGA president in 2028. And J.D. Vance, he is only 39 years old, and he made a wise decision to grow the beard because it makes him look a little more statesmanly and older. If you see him without the beard, he looks very young. That is rather young, okay? And, being 44, 45 at the next election, that's young. But out of all of these people on that list, Ohio's very, very important state, very important state. And I think he's got charisma. The other ones don't have. I love Elise Stefanik, but she doesn't have that.
Sure. We have to look beyond, too. We have to look beyond 45. We have to look beyond to the future.
The second MAGA president.
Yeah, I'm going with J.D. Vance, and I love your show. God bless everybody. Stay strong, and...
Great.
Great day.
All right, thank you. That's all she's got. See, unlike IB, she, not trying to prolong the conversation. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right. What's up?
Hey, I know you want to talk about President Trump's VP pick list, but I just want to touch base on the Normandy landing thing.
Yeah, no, I welcome calls on it. It's.
Okay, well, although the Allies landed in Italy in 43, by June of 44, we were bogged down in Italy. And in fact, we were still fighting in Italy when the war ended.
Yes.
Ideally suited for the defense.
Yeah.
All uphill, and then once you get into the Alps, you got to get across the Alps into southern Germany.
I hear you.
Yeah, so another landing was necessary. Now, what a lot of people don't know is a couple of weeks after the Normandy landing, we landed in the south of France in force.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little opposition.
Yes.
And nobody ever hears about that. Okay, but it does make you think that, ooh, maybe Normandy, maybe we could have, and I do get that, okay, they were trying for a giant pincer movement, but I'm sitting there thinking there was so little opposition against the landings in the south of France. Maybe in retrospect, we didn't need a Normandy landing. So,
well, listen, you can Monday morning quarterback anything, but when you look at, because I know everyone's going to be watching Private Ryan, and you see all this stuff, and we all think about these guys that are 100 years old, right, that they're wheeling around over there. God bless them. But the ones I think about are the ones that they have the grave markers for. And that was a suicide run. And I have gotten so distrustful of the government. What you're talking about with the south of France as an example, I don't know. I don't trust anything that comes out of the government. Anything.
that is, in fact, that keys into something else I was going to say also. That's the great thing about the Trump administration or the Trump legacy is that the blinders have fallen off of our eyes. And I'm the same way. I look back at history now and I go, whoa, wait a minute. I was always being told this. Maybe there was something else going on. I think it's led to a...
Well, there's a lot of revisionism. I mean, if you go through things, okay, even the Great American Revolution. If you want to, let's be honest here, okay? You had a bunch of very wealthy guys who were like the billionaires of their day. Those were most of the founding fathers, and they didn't like paying taxes. So they wanted to break free so they didn't have to pay taxes. It was a tax revolution. There's a lot of revisionism that goes on. And I watched last night, that documentary that I've seen many, many times, the Walter Cronkite interview with Eisenhower. It's called D-Day plus 20 years. It's on YouTube. You guys should watch it. And Eisenhower starts at his headquarters in England and then goes over to Normandy with Walter Cronkite and walks through every minute of everything he did and what he was doing. And it's amazing. He remembers everybody's name 20 years later like it was yesterday. If you want to see anything on Normandy, watch that. And I was watching it last night, and as you get older, you see things from a different light, a different viewpoint. And the tragedy of all those young guys, today's population, they don't even have an appreciation for what those guys have done. These Gen Zers, these millennials, like Mayor Pete, they have no connect. Like my grandfather was in Europe in World War II. I got a direct connection. They don't have a connection to it. They think we're the Nazis now, this country, and they have no respect for the sacrifice of all these guys. And it's really disgusting.
Well, the other thing is that the lack of appreciation for that era is also, it has an influence on how you perceive it today, on the context. And what I'm getting at is I was in an interview a couple of weeks ago, and the interviewer just happened to say something about, well, these are some really, she basically said that the times were so disorienting that she was losing faith in society. And my father was World War II generation. He was at Pearl Harbor. And he spent the first 6 months of the war slugging it out with the Japanese in surface engagements in the Dutch East Indies. And what I'm getting at is they thought, that those were real bad times. Juxtaposed today against then, those were real bad times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Everybody talks about Europe, which was god-awful, but and Band of Brothers. Watch The Pacific, which is like the companion to Band of Brothers. Tom Hanks did it about the war in the Pacific. It's based on that book, Helmet for My Pillow, that a Pacific, I can't remember the name of the guy that wrote it, Helmet for My Pillow. It's one of the best books ever written about the Second World War. But, this is the deal. All these wars that we've lived through, Iraq, Vietnam, this BS they got going on in Ukraine right now. We all know it's for money for the military-industrial complex. We also know, the Great Depression was a global depression. It wasn't just here. It was a global depression. And what ended the global depression was the Second World War. And most economists and historians believe that do you know when the Great Depression ended according to most economists?
Late 40s.
No, just the official date. Now this, you can argue this. The official date of the end of the Great Depression is December 7th, 1941. And the military buildup, the global military buildup, is what got us out of an economic depression that was worse than anybody imagines. I mean, some of us, my grandparents lived through it. Many of you probably had grandparents that lived through it, or maybe even parents. So it's worse than anyone can imagine today. Okay, imagine this. Imagine the entire world, all of America, is like Belgrade. Okay, that's how bad it was. And it's true. You guys know Belgrade. If you know Belgrade, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, as I get older and I see all these fake wars that they started, like in Iraq and things like this, the 20-year Afghan war and all this stuff, World War II, I believe that it is very possible that the U.S. government knew about the attack on Pearl Harbor before it happened because they wanted us in the war.
That's exactly where I was going to go, Brian.
I'm pretty convinced of it, in fact.
Well, my father would tell you that they did know something was coming because his cruiser had been pulled back from Manila.
Look at what if you go back, and I only bring this up because it's D-Day. Everyone's talking about World War II. If you go back to the ships that got sunk at Pearl Harbor, old junkers. The new ships were the carriers and the carrier groups. They were all gone out at sea. They only hit old junkers, most of them from the First World War. Okay, now the Arizona is an exception. There are a lot of guys there, but most of those other ships were World War I junkers. All the modern vessels were out at sea, except the Arizona.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And what I was getting at was
it's like they knew.
In the last, what I've seen the last few years. I now look back and go, I think they did know, and I think it wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't.
And I'll tell you one on this other thing. I never believed any of this stuff about J. Edgar Hoover, with all the conspiracies around him and the gay thing. Never believed the gay thing. Never believed that he had files on everybody until I saw what the FBI continues to do to Trump. Then I believe all of it now. And what I learned about the J. Edgar Hoover files, where did they go? Where did they go? They didn't go anywhere. They kept them and have been adding to them, okay, since he died. And so far as the gay thing with Hoover, which was true, he was buried with that guy that worked with him. He was buried with Tolson. They're in the mausoleum together. That is true. He got buried with his boyfriend Tolson, who ran the FBI with him. There was a gay pride parade this week. They had FBI agents with their FBI vest, their guns and their badge, marching in a gay pride parade. And these guys were swinging their hips like women in the gay pride parade. Look it up. It's on Twitter. So all this stuff about Hoover's, all these government conspiracies, we now know because of what they've done to Trump, were true.
And if it was true for that, you can pretty much guarantee it's been true for other things as well. And this leads into, I called in last week to say how the scales had finally fallen from my eyes. Well, I was reading through some stuff, and I came across a statement from Medgar Evers, from the 1960s, where he was basically saying, yes, the Justice Department and the FBI lie. They plant evidence.
Yes.
And I remember when I first read that, I think it was in the book Malcolm X. I remember when I first read that, no, not the Justice.
Yeah. The deep state killed both Kennedys. The deep state got rid of President Nixon and his vice president to plug in Ford to keep the war going. All of those conspiracy theories are true. So that's why these things with the Second World War, I question everything we ever learned now because of this.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about everything that we've been exposed to, everything we've been taught. And the only thing you can really rely on is the human aspect, the human experience. When you talk to one of those veterans and they tell you the misery that they went, that you can bank on, that you can absolutely rely on.
Mm-hmm.
Else from the generals and the politicians, that's all BS.
All right. Listen, I got to run. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the calls after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. Impact weather today. We're going to see widespread scattered showers and storms tonight, about a 50% coverage. And then it's going to be exceptionally hot today. We're heading for a high of about 93 or so. I'm WTVF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in Jupiter, a right shoulder is blocked with a crash on the turnpike northbound approaching Indiantown Road causing slowdowns. In West Palm, a crash has a left shoulder block from the turnpike southbound past Okeechobee Boulevard. Traffic update is sponsored.
Richard Marks talking about the fourth turning. There is a The Fourth Turning is an amazing book, but if you want to learn about the fourth turning, which will blow your mind, don't read the book. Go on YouTube and search for the fourth turning Van, V-A-N, Van Neistat. You guys know Casey Neistat? Casey Neistat's very strange brother did a video a couple years ago on the fourth turning, and he breaks down the fourth turning. It'll blow you the freak away. So just go in Van Neistat, the fourth turning. But don't do it till I go off the air.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep.
Yeah, the fourth turning will blow your mind.
Let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center, being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family.
Yeah, but don't do it till I go off the air. Watch me for now. But Van Neistat, the fourth turning, I think he gives the best explanation. He did 2 videos. You want to watch the older video. Let me see if I can find the one I'm talking about.
Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
I'll put it in there, but don't watch it now. Yeah, that's the link. But don't watch it now.
Donate on their website, locallibraryfriends.org/library, or shop in their bookstore. Learn more at locallibraryfriends.org.
Yeah, I just put the link there. It's the one 3 years ago. It's the best explanation. It'll freak you out. Now I want to tell you guys, got a big batch of these going out. The Mighty Manga Lion. Every Mighty Manga Lion sold, we make a donation to the Trump campaign, and a lot of you have been ordering them. The Mighty Manga Lion is available exclusively through me, MightyMagaLion.com, MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the description, and for every lion sold, we make a donation to the Trump campaign. And a lot of you guys have bought them this week. We've made 2 pretty sizable donations already, and I got a whole batch going out today. If you order your Mighty Manga Lion today, it will be shipped today. MightyMagaLion.com. MightyMagaLion.com. There's a link in the description. Absolutely. Perfect as a Father's Day gift or just to cuddle while you're watching the debate with Trump and Biden. We'll be back in 14 seconds.
The Driftwood Farm
Plaza on South US Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2903 or check out their menu at chowderheadsusa.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Is it me or is the quality of callers this week been like the best caller quality we've had like in years? I'm really impressed. Some very smart, interesting people. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Ricky from North Carolina.
Hey, Ricky, what's up?
Hey, no, I really don't know much about all these people that don't speak, and
That's okay. The only name you need to know is Trump. That's the only name. That's the only name.
Exactly. I'm going to look back and research them, but I would like to see maybe like a debate between like some of his ones he might choose. That'd be kind of cool to watch. I think it would be like an honest.
Listen, no one that has ever voted for a president because of who the vice president is. Okay? I don't know of anyone, okay? But this one has a little more importance because Trump only has one term left. So, so to get a new vice president with only one term, it adds another component. The Daily Mail did a poll of the 7 that Trump is vetting, and Elise Stefanik is in the lead. And I think the reason she's in the lead is she's ahead of everybody. She's in first place, and I think she's in the lead because of she's a woman. She can help with the women. She's from New York, and she's tough. She takes on these people. She's like Laura Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a tough lady. I like her.
That's funny how you said that because as I was on hold, she was the one I was researching right now. I was just waiting for you to get back on.
And she's loyal to Trump. She's been very loyal. When Hunter went into that House hearing, she tore into him. It was unbelievable. She's fearless.
Mm. Anything I could look up, for her, like something that comes to your mind, like you would advise me?
No, she's young and new, so she doesn't. A lot of these people are young and new, so they don't have a lot of history. They're not these old fossils that have been in Washington for 50 years and are, you know what I mean? So there's not as much about them. We don't have as much history with them.
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks, Ricky. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Yeah, so, in terms of World War II, I have a very distinct take on this, and I think your racist audience is going to like it. I think Hitler did us a favor, because when you white people kill each other, it gave Africa a chance to become liberated. So I would recommend you guys pick a fight with China so they can kick your butt and we can get our full. Okay, so you talk about the liberation of Africa. Okay, you mean the European colonies pulled out, right? Is that what you mean? You couldn't afford them anymore. Mm. Well, there were no American colonies. They were European colonies. Which liberated African country would you rather live in than Harlem? Oh, you're so funny. Yeah. Ignorance is so astounding. First of all, can't think of one? My own apartment. Okay. I didn't say. No. Hey, no. Listen. Okay. No. I didn't ask if you had a job. I said you were talking. Excuse me. You were talking about how great Africa is because the Europeans pulled out. So I'm just asking you, which country would you rather live in than New York? First of all, I would want all of you Europeans out of Africa. All you do is... Well, apparently a lot of the African Americans don't want anything to do with it either. No, listen. Really, where would you like to live in Africa that would and leave Harlem for? Let me talk. Well, answer. Well, shut up and let me talk. Oh boy, sore spot. A little sensitive, huh? Ghana? No, you talk too much. You like over talking people. Tell me about Ghana. You would leave Harlem for Ghana. Okay, tell me about that. Quiet. Ghana has the richest real estate and resources, and what's the other place? Kenya?
Yeah.
Somalia? All the resources that you people are desperately clinging to and trying to rip off. You can't make a cell phone without coal.
So you want to live in Ghana?
That's where my ancestry is from, you idiot.
I didn't ask about your ancestry. You were talking about how great Africa is. So hold on a second. So you're telling me that you would leave Harlem for Ghana? You would leave Harlem for Ghana and work in the saltine mines? Is that what it is? Saltines, like the crackers? What is it they have?
Any of that. If you would shut up, I could tell you. Now, the bottom line is, you people don't know that the people you exported as slaves were really Hebrew Israelites. If you only knew that.
And so wait a minute. So you're a Jew? Is that what you're telling me? You're a Jew?
The people you people kidnapped.
You people? The only kidnapping that's been going on involving Hebrews are the Jewish hostages that the Palestinian terrorists kidnapped and have taken back to Gaza.
Making any sense at all.
Oh, I heard everything, but I'm talking about today, not the 1600s. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
The metals looking very good. Again, strong support for gold. On top of that $2,300 number, we see that get down to $2,320, and then move right back up to the $2,350 area. Yesterday, we saw gold regain $29.30, closing out the day at $2,355.60. Silver gained 49 cents, closing out the day at $29.92, while platinum was up $6 at $995, and palladium gained $22 at $920. The rally continued overnight with gold trading as high as $2,376 last night. That was up over $20 at one point. And but right now, currently up $3 at $2,358.60 the ounce. Silver's up 28 cents right now at $30.20. Platinum's unchanged at $9.95, and palladium is down $4 at $916. So the metal's doing very well, very stable. Small pullbacks, giving us a little bit of an opportunity to pick up some bargains, but still in a trading range, and we're waiting to see if that trading range is going to break out, and I believe it's going to be to the upside. How it goes.
I mean, silver is really on fire right now. It really is. Yeah, let me ask you, what's your opinion when it comes to 1 ounce silver today? Do you recommend the generic silver rounds or some of the sovereign coins from like the U.S. Mint or the other mints? What would you recommend?
Well, the generic silver rounds are the best buy right now, but if you want a sovereign mint coins, they're on sale also. There's not a whole lot of difference, so you can pick beautiful coins struck by different countries at very reasonable.
What are some of the 1 ounce silver coins from the different mints around the world? Like we have our great silver eagles. The Canadians have the maple leaf. What are some of the other ones that are good deals?
Austria has a thing called Philharmonic.
Oh, those Austrian Philharmonics are incredibly popular, and they are some of the most beautiful silver coins I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Then, of course, there's the kangaroos in silver from Australia. There's also the Noah's Arks from Armenia. There's British silver coins from Britain, the Britannias. So we have a beautiful selection of different silver coins that you can obtain, and they're all very reasonable.
And you can buy them one at a time, or you can buy a tube, and some of them come like 20 in a tube, some 25 in a tube.
That's correct.
Yeah. So listen, give William Youngerman a call. They open up at 10 a.m. and I like pretty things, and those Austrian Philharmonics are they're all hey, listen, it's silver, it's all pretty, but those Philharmonics, I like them a lot. Okay, William Youngerman's number is 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can also go to his website, williamyoungerman.com, where you'll find both his phone number and address, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. Okay, back after this.
Take on the social justice warrior. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, the final stretch. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I hear them in the background. Once, twice. Oh, I had you halfway hung up. Turn off the radio. Yeah, what's on your mind? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Delray Beach. I was on the turnpike.
Al, are you drinking again? Are you? It's once per day. You're calling back again. What do you have that you think is worthy of breaking the one call per day rule?
Well, I mean, you were against the break, and I didn't get a call in. I mean, that don't count.
Well, what is worthy of breaking the one call a day rule? What do you have?
You were saying earlier that there's no reason why Trump should get prosecuted. There's 87 witnesses in the D.C. case that are going to be heard come July.
What did he do? What crime did he commit in D.C.?
11,780 votes.
This is interesting. Asking from when President Trump goes on television and says vote for me, he's asking for votes. That's a crime. Oh, okay. Campaigning really. So what about Al Gore? He went to courts, and he went to local courts in Florida in 2000. Should Al Gore and his lawyers be prosecuted for those crimes? Oh, of course. I know, because they're Democrats, and Democrats have a license to do crime and do anything else that they. This thing about the lawfare. When they talk about it so much, this convicted felon. To Democrats, that's like food to them when you say convicted felons, crimes. There's just some things that don't belong in the courts, and one of them are presidents. I don't care who the president is. I said, don't prosecute the Clintons. A lot of people in this audience were mad at me when I said, don't prosecute the Clintons. You believe me. They're living in a prison. The Clintons live together in that house in Chappaqua. Do you think they're happy? A lot of guys like white-collar prison. They get away from their wives and they don't have the pressure, okay? Believe me, the Clintons are in a prison. They're miserable, and they're together and miserable. I promise you. But, you don't want to get in this business where you're prosecuting people running for office. I mean, that's 50 Cent just came out yesterday and endorsed Trump. And we got one of the Black Panther Party founding members, the real Black Panthers, not these jokers that are running around these days, endorsed Trump. And you're seeing a lot of people that are not in the normal realm of voting Republican coming out and endorsing Trump, like 50 Cent. I mean, that's insane. Who would have thought that a few years ago? And 50 Cent said, isn't that how you say us white guys have a hard time saying it? You're supposed to say 50 cents or 50 cents, but at 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent? You say 50 Cent? I don't know. I like 50 Cent. He likes Trump. I like 50 Cent. But what 50 Cent said was, now I'm saying it really funny. He said because all these black guys got RICO charges, and the black community understands how there has been a history of the legal system at all levels, local on up, oppressing black people, and they don't like it. From Martin Luther King and Malcolm X all the way down to racial profiling around the country. Okay? That's the way of it. And racial profiling, it's a thing. We know this. And why do we know this? Because it happens, and blacks and the Democrats have been talking about it for years. So there's no group of Americans that understand how the legal system has been weaponized against them. You know, there was that nice lady that called in yesterday from Port St. Lucie, and she said her son, she's black, and her son's black, thinks that MAGA people are racist, you know, and because of some things a couple people that he's encountered have said and done. And I said, well, people that are in prison for violent crimes, they're mostly black. And she says, yes. I said, well, you know, does that mean that all black guys are criminals? Of course not. Of course not. But one of the reasons that there's an overrepresentation of African Americans in prison, well, there's more than one reason. There's a couple reasons, and Democrats are behind all of it. Okay? But a big part of it is there is racial bias in the legal system. There is. And, you know, most people that are involved in the legal system are Democrats. If you go around the country, you know, we're in Florida, so Florida's a different place, like Texas. But if you get outside of strong red areas like Texas and Florida, most people that are in law enforcement, and, you know, from patrolmen all the way up to the prosecutors, are Democrats. Okay? That's the way it is. And Democrats are racist. It's in their DNA. They very low opinion of African Americans, and they have been persecuted with lawfare since the slaves were freed. Jim Crow, the whole Jim Crow thing was lawfare against blacks for 100 years of terror. And it still goes on today. All right? And the African-American community are very well aware of this. And this lawfare that this idiot, Al the John, just thinks is a beautiful thing, you know, that has turned more blacks towards the Republican Party than anyone could have ever imagined, because they relate to it. They connect to it. They have a connection to Trump that they didn't have before on a very, very intense level. You know, the lawfare thing, this isn't new. Democrats have been waging lawfare since the Civil War was over. Okay? We know this. It's been talked about forever and ever and ever. And now we're experiencing it so openly on a very high level with President Trump. So all these things they're doing. You know, I wanted to play this clip before the show ends. Between the lawfare and the border, if you're on hold, I'll try to get to the calls before the end, so hang in there. This is a town hall meeting in Norfolk, Massachusetts, and this is from the local CBS News affiliate in Boston. And they've got their local city officials. It's a town hall meeting with residents. This is liberal Massachusetts, and the city officials are bragging about all the illegals that they're taking care of in the town. And the townspeople are ticked off. Listen.
Our shelter system is here lawfully and has been vetted by the federal government at the port of entry. Every single person.
And there was a lot of that disappointment in the state's answers. Full chaos broke out a number of times.
Up to age 21. And I just want to apologize for the disrespect that you've received thus far.
A contentious debate with the livelihoods of thousands of migrant and unhoused Massachusetts families caught in the middle. Parents have questions on the educational...
Okay, I'm running low, so I can play the whole thing, but you hear these local... Massachusetts, we have called that forever. Republicans have called Massachusetts the People's Republic of Massachusetts. It's very left-wing socialist, and you hear how outraged they are. The government officials like the illegals because they get money that they can steal from, right? The illegals put their kids in schools so they get more money, a lot more money for the schools. They're all stealing, like the Washington Democrats and establishment Republicans are from Ukraine funding. That's why they welcome them. Between the lawfare with the blacks and the border issue, the Democrats have taken strong parts of their base and turned them into Republicans and red-pilled them like that in the last 3.5 years. It's fantastic. Fantastic. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lynn from Boynton.
Hey, what's up? Last call of the day. What's on your mind?
Hey, great. Hey, I was just going to say about the World War II guys. My dad was in World War II, and he was in the Army, and he was what they call a runner. So he would crawl out to the deceased people and grab all the ammo and guns and bring them back to their guys, which would refill the bullets and then pack them down.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And then reuse the ammunition, you know. And he was very proud, my father, to tell his war stories, where a lot of guys aren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about it.
That's true.
So anything we asked, he would always tell us, bad or good. But I will tell you, we never ate Japanese or Chinese food in our house, forever. Never.
Oh, no. And, you know, and I've known Jews, this generation's kind of died off, but when I was younger, there were Jews here in South Florida that would not allow a Volkswagen or BMW in their driveway or their development. They would not allow it. Yeah, yeah. But those people are all gone. Listen, we're out of time for today. That sounds like an amazing story with your dad. Thanks for sharing. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. That means open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind's fair game on Open MAGA Mike Friday. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Open MAGA Mike Friday.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, make sure you like the video, all right? Take care. See you later.